Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beautifully Bruised in the CPS show. We are so excited. I am very excited that we have another special guest today. My name is Latrika Jones, and I am your host. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Without him, I am absolutely nothing. I do believe the test that he allowed me to go through. And since I kept my faith in him, he said, I'm going to use you one day because I can trust you. So here I am today. I'm trying to bring on as many useful, effective, knowledgeable, skilled, my God, so many gifts and talents of experience, a plethora of wealth of knowledge that God has allowed me to come in connection with, including, I want to just shout out to Attorney Vince, because again, it was meeting him through my interview, and he said, "Hey, I want you to come on my platform." And I thank God for him, for Grace. Just the whole team is just superb, seriously, about having the heart to help people. And I do believe knowledge is power. So another reason why we're here today. And with that being said, speaking of knowledge that is power, I do have Dr. Cheryl Edinburgh that is here today. Oh my God. When I tell you that like I said, I'm here in Texas, and I was, watching the news, here where I'm located at, including, I had some other people that reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you heard of this story?" And I seen Cheryl on local news here, and my heart just dropped. Um, it dropped really for so many different reasons. One, that unfortunately, like I said, I have been a victim of CPS, and unfortunately, I know what it's like going through that if you don't have people that has integrity and has your best interest in heart. And so that it can really be derailed really quickly if you don't have a skilled attorney like Attorney Vince or someone of his stature. But with that being said, I definitely want to mention the reason why I brought Cheryl. And I want to say, with that being said, the story was due to her client, Tamisha Jackson, and Rodney, her husband. That's how I seen Cheryl, that she was in like I say, the local news here. And sadly, this beautiful baby, and I want to say I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Is it little Melia?
Mila.
Mila, my God. I mean, if y'all see this baby, you want to look her up. She is like a little doll. Like she's so beautiful. And we have Dr. Cheryl Edinburgh, who's the one that is the midwife who helped deliver this beautiful baby. And with that being said, things began to take a turn pretty fast with what I heard on the news. But with that being said, let me give you some more information that you want to know regarding Cheryl Edinburgh, who we have on our show today. I like to mention that she found the Wellness Center in 2012. Cheryl is a PhD, LPC, LCDC. I don't know what these initials for, but I'm going to have to elaborate and tell us. I want to say, when do you sleep, Cheryl? You're the second person that is so busy in these trenches.
Yeah.
My God. Wow. But I just want to share, some of her, how many different, my God's credits and her experience. Like I say, in health, she's a health and fitness coach. Also, again, obviously a licensed midwife. Dr. Edinburgh also has been she counseled individuals, couples, and families since 2010. During this time, she also collaborated with other therapists and treatment facilities to understand the needs within our community. Thank God. She has also obtained certification as a yoga massage therapist, as well as a health and fitness coach, to include more of a holistic approach to working with clients.
Absolutely.
My God. Also, due to her belief in caring for the whole person, mind, body, and soul, and spirit, obviously, she's extended her counseling skills to other areas along her journey. Dr. Edinburgh extended her services to include being a midwife, and also, is it aesthetic that you're also working in?
I'm a licensed esthetician.
My God. Okay. See what I'm saying? When do you sleep? No, we really gonna have to talk about this.
Now listen, there is rest on the other side of Jordan. There's work to do on this side. He has given and commissioned us all things to do. Never in the word did he commission anybody to do something without saying, go. or come,
Absolutely.
right?
Oh my
And
God.
you can't go and come if you sleep.
You cannot. I've never seen that happen. So
Right.
you own something with that. So that is so true.
Mhm.
But yes, I just also want to say again, all this. Dr. Edinburgh also was licensed as a midwife during the COVID pandemic in
Mhm.
2020. So again, welcome, welcome,
Thank
welcome
you.
to
Thank
to our
you.
show today. What an honor,
Thank
what a
you.
blessing to have you here. And as I begin to, go further deeper into our episode today of learning so much about you and what you have to offer to so many throughout our communities, is there anything that you would like to share right now that you feel that, is important to be said as well?
Absolutely. So, part of the reason that I have the alphabet A through Z behind my name is because, unfortunately, with the color of my skin, I can't afford not to be on the up and up in every area of expertise,
Mhm.
right? And
Okay.
so, as I serve the whole person, it is important for me to make sure that I have the credentials to do so. Because when I have the credentials to do so, those credentials, those licenses come with a standard that has been established by the state that I make sure that I uphold to. Because what I do know is that all good and perfect gifts come from above, and
Absolutely.
all things work together for the good that are called according to his purpose. And I walk in his purpose. But in order for me to do that, and to do that on this side of Jordan,
Mhm.
where there are so many reasons why people feel like it's not okay for me to do what I do because of the color of my skin, I
Mm.
make sure that I use wisdom in
Absolutely.
all that I do so that my clients are protected and so that I am protected. And so, yeah. And today I am going to share, I am a firm believer is in not telling stories that are not mine to tell. And
Mhm.
so, what I will share today is the story that has been given to me to share. And a lot of the stuff with the CPS case is knowledge. It's
That's true.
been publicized, and so I won't talk about anything that's currently not out there and out and about. And so, and I definitely think that it's important to emphasize that if it's not your story to tell, a lot of bad information has been shared through social media and all these things by people that have no clue and no idea about the care that went into this situation, the policies and the procedures and the medical things that have been done. Like no one really knows. And so, what I do want to say first and foremost is if you don't have a direct um, insight into information. Like if you don't know this particular family, this particular situation, guys, don't speak on it because you really bring more damage than you do good.
Absolutely.
Right?
I totally agree with that. Yes, I
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. And I do, again, I like to uphold, that's very important to me is having integrity,
Yeah.
and making sure things are being shared. That is correct. That's
Absolutely.
um
Absolutely.
how
And I kind of fast forwarded. So let me bring you back just a little bit. So I am happily married, been married for 25 years. My husband and I just celebrated our 25-year wedding anniversary.
congratulations. Wow, what a blessing. 25 years.
And I still like him. He is my best friend. Also, we have 3 adult children and
Mhm.
we have 7 grandchildren. We have,
Big
yeah,
family.
number 8 is due in September and number
Wow.
9 is due in December.
Wow.
So we are very busy on that side of things as well.
Right. I can
Um,
tell.
I did start my private practice in 2012.
Mhm.
Part of me, the end of 2012, so I really say 2013,
Mhm.
January of 2013. And part of that is because of racial disparities in the workforce, right?
Mhm.
That's where my first real introduction to understanding that I have to navigate a little bit differently due to the color of my skin.
Right.
And
And you know what, Cheryl, before you go into that, because I'm going to allow you,
Mhm,
more time to elaborate a little bit more on that.
mhm,
But with that being said, I do have some questions that I want to try to.
absolutely.
Okay, okay, great. And then we can definitely, give you that time. Should allow you to share more information and what you want to say
Absolutely.
as well. But with that being said, I do have someone that, like I said, that, people that's been following the story, and by you being a licensed midwife and have so many other credentials,
Mhm.
Can you explain what is the difference between a doula and a midwife so that person can
Absolutely.
better understand?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
I can break it down further, but when you think about it, your doula is like your emotional, mental support.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Okay.
your midwife is, for lack of any other term, like the OB.
Hmm. Okay.
But with for a midwife, we operate with no to low risk,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
More, we focus more on what's normal, right?
Right.
And because we focus on what's normal, abnormal sticks out really fast and really big.
I
And
bet.
so when it's abnormal outside of our scope of practice, when it's outside of a hospital, birth outside of a hospital, then that's when we send it to where it needs to be, in the hospital, for an emergency.
Okay.
The
Okay.
hospitals are for an emergency. They're not for physiological processes, right?
Right.
Birth is a physiological process. It's a
Right.
normal, natural process,
Absolutely.
and we treat it as such. And
Mhm.
when it's not, we then treat it that way as well.
Okay. Okay, so that is the difference. Because to be honest with you, I
Mhm,
have been hearing about a midwife before I even knew about it.
mhm.
My grandmother in July, she was her midwife delivered her, and she is like I say in July she'll be 106.
Beautiful.
Yes, and when I tell you she is alive and well, she still eats healthy. She
Good.
still, get around, walk. She's not confined of any of those things. So I've always had a special respect for midwives because I'm like, my
Mhm.
God,
Yeah.
it just, she said, yeah. So I always knew about it, but I didn't know really the difference as well as between a doula and a midwife. So
Mhm.
you did explain that. Now, I definitely want to ask you, and I understand that, you say you prefer Mrs. Rodney and sure, Tamisha Jackson to, go into more of their information regarding their story. Um,
Absolutely.
but what I did want to ask you, so I can understand as well, I heard the terminology, I do believe is called, is it jaundice?
Uh-huh.
Can you explain what that is?
Absolutely, absolutely. In midwifery care, a lot of times the reason why women come into midwifery care is because they want to have a little more autonomy about the care that they have. And so in midwifery care, we have informed consent, where we talk about the benefits and the risk. And a lot of the families want to do delayed cord clamping. That means that they want their baby to stay attached to their placenta that has been giving them nutrients, that has been taking waste products away from them. They want to leave it on until it stops pulsing, right? And
Okay.
that's called delayed cord clamping. And so I explained to families that one of the risks of doing that is is a physiological jaundice, right? Which
Right.
means that when your baby has so many red blood cells in the system, their liver doesn't have the ability to break down the bilirubin, which is a byproduct of red blood cells.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. So at discharge, we let mothers know. Now, their livers do start to kick in. Some babies, we won't say all,
Right.
some babies' livers do not process bilirubin right away.
Okay.
And
Okay.
some do. For the ones that don't, 24 hours after birth, you can see jaundice, which is called physiological jaundice. And it's
Mhm.
called physiological. If you look up the word, that word is normal.
Okay.
Normal jaundice. It's
Okay.
the same jaundice that the hospitals send families home with, right?
Right.
They send them, and sometimes they'll send them home with the bilirubin blanket, and sometimes they don't. They send them home with the instructions that I give, but they sound a little different. My instructions is, I want you to put your baby to breast every 2 hours,
Hmm.
and we're going to monitor output, because that's how bilirubin leaves the system, through urine and
Hmm.
feces, right?
Right. Right.
And then as we're monitoring, if bilirubin, I mean, if the levels aren't dropping, if the jaundice isn't um, leaving the body, we then say, let's take the baby into the hospital, because now it's an emergency, right? It's no longer physiological where it's just normally leaving the body. Now there's a problem and we need to get you in to medical facilities where emergencies are handled.
Of
In
course.
addition to that, though, let's explain the lights. They give off these ultraviolet, right? So you
Mhm.
have artificial lights that give off ultraviolet rays that's supposed to help push the bilirubin out of the baby's body as you're also breastfeeding, right?
Wow. Okay. Right.
So that's, guess what? God has given us the most natural ultraviolet rays there are, and that's the sun.
Oh my God.
And so with this situation, this mother, she had a bilirubin blanket. She bathed her baby in the sun. She breastfed. Her baby within 24 hours was giving off 3 diapers at a time of poop and pee. And so we knew the baby's system was doing
Operating correctly. Yes.
exactly normal, physiologically,
Normal.
right?
Right.
Now, at discharge, we do talk about pathological jaundice.
Mhm.
Pathological disease requires immediate care, which requires the hospital. Pathological jaundice, again, textbook, is seen within 24 hours.
Mhm.
Right. So if it's after 24 hours, it's called physiological. If it's before 24 hours, it's called pathological. And there is this thing going around saying that, oh, her levels were too high. They were 21. Okay, 21 is high, but let's explain something. If you have a baby whose jaundice just showed up on that day, it's going to be high because it has not had a chance to
Right.
do what it needs to do to leave the body. So yes, it's going to be high.
Right.
Again, it requires assessment. So all of this is in the medical record, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so if ever you want to know like true care of a child, like we do newborn screenings, we have
Okay.
a complete record of that. She has
Mm.
a complete record of newborn. So if you really want to know how this baby did from 14 weeks gestation to 40 weeks and 3 days, if you really want to know how this baby did immediately postpartum from that time she was born up into the 4 hours that we cared for her, it's
Mhm.
all in her records, it's in her chart.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because, and just to kind of tie into why you're explaining, what jaundice is,
Mhm.
I just want to implement that. That was CPS. Well, the doctor, the hospital, the doctor, still dealing with medical because you're a doctor yourself.
Mhm.
Another doctor felt like that the baby uh, had I guess thought had the baby had jaundice, so therefore they felt the baby wasn't being treated correctly, and CPS, that is how they became involved. Uh,
So again, I like to tell the
and
story.
that's all I want to say,
Right,
regarding why
right,
you're explaining
but
what it is.
honestly, um, did CPS get involved because of physiological jaundice? Did they? And if they did, they got involved for a natural situation. I,
Exactly right. Right.
so I can't tell you why. See, I truly, honestly, the story is this is why CPS got involved. But again, as it's known, the affidavit had someone else's name. So again, why did CPS take this 7-day-old baby?
Right.
We don't know. But what I do know is that the case was dropped because
Praise God.
there was no grounds. And again, this could be public record.
Of course. Yeah.
It was a stoppage of the suit on the grounds of failure to make a legal case or bring sufficient evidence.
Right.
So for 3 weeks and 2 days, there was no grounds for a legal case,
Right.
and there was not sufficient evidence. So what exactly was CPS doing?
Absolutely is a question.
That's the question. So and that's it, right? Because you've dropped the case, but you do owe the public,
Absolutely. I agree.
not just the family,
The public.
the public, an explanation about the incongruencies of your policies and procedures.
Absolutely. You're completely dead on. Please speak on it.
Right.
Because right. Because
Yeah.
it's the community is involved.
Right.
It's bigger than us.
Right. And what is your investigation policy? What did you invest? Who did you what's the investigation first and foremost to give you any evidence? That's one thing. And then from my understanding, your goal is to keep families together. Again, when she was
Really going in. So this is so needed because
so
it's factual.
right. So when you realize that you took a child for a natural issue that was not an issue once she was out of the hospital, why didn't she go back home? When she was seen by CPS pediatrician, and the chart says, the record that that pediatrician has says that everything was normal with this child, why did she then not go back home?
Many people want to know the answer to that.
Right. And so, and here's the thing, like many people want to argue, oh, the levels were high. Again, you don't know the totality of the situation. So please stop speaking on that. Second of all, let's talk about the real issue, right? Because we are missing the fact that a 7-day-old baby,
7-day newborn baby. And I must implement this as well. Just because, unfortunately, I hate to hear this story again. It broke my heart when I heard it. I thank God for you because you obviously are skilled. You know, like you said, you have the charge, you have the evidence that could have been easily supplied to show proof this child was just fine.
And I want to speak on that too, but I want to speak on that because that is, to me, a disrespect to my profession.
I understand how you feel that way. Absolutely.
As a midwife, I've served over 300 families. And the reason why I do what I do is because of the mortality and the morbidity rate in the hospitals.
Oh my God.
And to God be the glory.
Yes, Lord.
Absolutely. That I have a 0 mortality and morbidity rate.
Wow.
So I'm doing something.
You got to be doing something right.
Right. And so here's my thing, though. What I am doing is I'm listening. What I am doing is I'm connecting. What I am doing is I am formulating relationships. What I am doing is I'm empowering. What I am doing is I'm educating. What I am doing is I'm caring. And at points, I'm loving.
Yes. Yes.
What I am doing is realizing that there are cultures within cultures, and I want to understand your culture to help you get what you need to get.
Right.
To be your best self, even if that looks different than me.
Correct. And I agree with that because I think at the end of the day, it's, oh my God, it's about if you're really about the children, let's really be about the children.
Right.
And I say that to say this because just like this happened to this family, this could easily happen to any one of us.
It happens all, and this is the sad part too, right? We'll sit back and we'll see things happen and we'll say, oh man, dang, that's messed up. Oh man. And this is where I struggle with just the collaborative help, right? Oh man, that's messed up. And then, I'm guilty, right? When this happened indirectly to me, but definitely direct enough, I'm like, we need to stop. There needs to be something. We need to do something, right?
Absolutely.
And so let's not wait until we're directly affected
by it personally, right?
We're one step. We're any of us are one step from
one of us
from a false claim. Yes. Unfortunately, we live in a world where if someone gets mad at you, they can punish you and call CPS. If you don't do what they say, go to the hospital right now. Take that baby right now. For a normal situation that you feel like you can take care of, then you say, I'm gonna punish you. I'm gonna call CPS. But guess what, guys? Let me tell you something.
It's almost used as a form of a weapon.
Exactly. It's weaponized, medical weaponization. It is.
I will call CPS on you if this is not meeting my standards or if it's not what I like. And it's not that the baby's in harm or nothing is wrong with the parents. It's just something they're angry, they don't like.
And to me, systems are good, but when it comes to humanity, systems should not override humanity.
I think that's a great observation.
And that's what happens every day, all day, because someone else feels like they know what's best for us or others.
Right.
Their systems override our humanity.
Sadly, but true.
Why? How? We can't be here without humanity. Correct. We can't survive without humanity.
Yeah, we need, absolutely. We should all be, I believe we have more in common than we actually have that's apart from each other. But you would have to tap into that to be able to open up to see that. But again, I think this story is so vital because again, CPS is not only affecting just homes, it's in the medical world.
Yeah.
Here we have someone like yourself that was highly qualified, well known, well sought out as a midwife, did her job. There was nothing wrong with this beautiful baby, but because of someone that I guess however you want to word it, didn't like how things were done.
And then this, I got one more thing too, something to what you said.
Okay.
There are many ways that we are so much alike. True. Like if you were to get to the essence of us, we all bleed. Yes. We all got white meat under us. We all got eyes, lips. So there's a lot of commonality. But let me tell you something. If we learn to embrace the differences,
that's important too. Absolutely.
It's rich. It's rich.
Correct. I
We
agree.
don't need to walk around looking and sounding the same. If we can embrace the differences,
Yes, it would help so much in this.
oh, we would have such a beautiful world.
Yes,
It
my
would be
God,
so much nicer, so much sweeter,
my
so
God.
much loving,
True.
right?
It will make it'll be a new world almost.
Exactly. Now, I want to talk for a second about I used to contract with CPS as a therapist.
Okay.
And I saw some things in the background there as I'm helping families, as I'm helping these children, and even listening to the children. I was understanding that they were being put in places by CPS that was not beneficial for them, which is why I ended my contract with them. I could not work in a system that was contrary to my heart, right? So I had to let it go, you know? And even with that being said, even with this situation, this is a prime example, right?
Right.
You go in and you call yourself protecting these children.
Right.
And when their parents come in, you treat them subpar, you
Mm,
treat them like subhumans, you
Jesus.
degrade them, you dehumanize them, and then you want to say they're angry. Yes, they are. They
Of
have
course,
every
who
right
would
to
not be?
right. And then you want to retaliate because they're angry. It's just a cycle of vicious hurt and anger and just it's ridiculous, right? Then you turn around, if these people have jumped through the hoops you feel like they need to jump through, you give these kids back to families that are still angry, to families that are broken, because you know this family has to be restored. This mother is suffering from PTSD. And you've given this baby back. Now she has to figure out how to now recover to give her children what they need.
Yeah. And this is
And you and oh, I'm sorry, and one more thing too.
you're fine. Please go ahead. You're
And
fine.
you do this without any resources. You just want to say, "Oh, we didn't have legal grounds. Oh, we don't have a case." But you've destroyed, you've taken away,
My God.
you've limited, you've demasculated, you've dehumanized. And so
Mm.
now these people got to figure out how to get their life back together. And you've gone on to the next family.
On to the next victims.
Exactly. Enough. When is enough enough?
When is
I'm
enough
not saying that
enough?
CPS isn't needed. Don't get me
Ooh,
wrong.
just think about
Again,
it. Mhm.
working with them, I've seen cases where it was a need to remove children.
Right. And then when it's necessary, obviously, who would go? I
But
mean, of course.
even in that, there are ways to do it in which you're not beating people down.
Oh my God.
There are ways to do it in which you are restoring the family,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
so at the end of the day, a system that's been put in place that's supposed to be for a family is not operating right. And I feel like those systems should
Broken.
call into question. The policies should be changed. The procedures should be changed. And instead of having people in there that are that seems like they're miserable about doing their jobs,
I've witnessed that myself. Yes.
let's train people on cultural sensitivity.
Mm,
Let's train people on humility,
mm,
love. With
right.
love and
I
kindness
think
have
that's
I
going to
drawn
really
thee.
make a difference in their
With
life.
love and kindness have I drawn thee.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, Lord.
And so even if you want to be circular about it, you get more flies with honey.
That's right. That is so true. I mean, oh my God, you have said so many different things that
Mm-hmm.
that has really pricked my heart, my
And,
soul.
and can I say something real quick? Because I like to kind of
Yeah,
interject.
please.
If for those that are watching your show right now who think that I'm angry,
Mhm,
I'm not. I'm
mhm.
passionate.
It's a difference. It's a
I'm
difference. And that's why when I spoke with you, I heard your passion.
Mhm,
I heard the love that you have, not only for your mamas, the babies that you help to
mhm,
successfully deliver, but you
mhm.
have a heart for people.
People. That's it. I had a statement this year at the beginning of the year, and I said, I've been behind the walls of my practice for so many years, right?
Right,
I'm gonna get out into the community this year, right?
right.
And as soon as I stepped in the community, the Lord let me know, now you're not gonna just get out in the community, you're gonna be community.
I love that. I do. I love that. That's powerful. That is powerful. But I also want to share another reason why this platform is so important to me because you have a lot of mothers.
Mhm.
I've received messages that my family is going through that. and I don't know what to do. I have a grandmother that recently reached out to me and said, I have a family member that's dealing with a CPS case. We just got it. And thank you for this platform, because hearing the type of people that you are bringing on that are educated, they are experienced, they know the ins and outs, or they've been through the system, whether it's been on working for CPS. I've had
Mhm,
caseworkers on here.
mhm,
I've had supervisor intakers that documents the visits and work the docs with CPS to let them know the interactions with these parents and their
mhm,
children. Someone like yourself that is a midwife, that's a doctor, from the medical side of it. Because I've
mhm.
heard, well, I've also researched a lot of times that parents are getting these CPS cases because it is doctors that's calling. And a lot of
Right,
times the doctors, like, for example, this case, that wasn't
right.
correct. And
Mhm,
this baby, this brand new baby, what, 7 days old,
mhm,
and I can only imagine how her family could be traumatized. And that was going to be my next question. How is Rodney and Tamisha Jackson recovering from what happened? My heart broke. I mean, when people saw that, how CPS had taken that baby away within days, and
mhm,
honestly, I do believe that's the reason why the baby was returned
mhm,
after
mhm.
3 weeks, because they didn't have any merit or no substantial evidence to continue to withhold their brand new baby.
First of all, let's be clear. The writ that they used to take this baby had another woman's name on it.
Wow.
So that was illegal in itself. Yeah. To illegally, I don't even know if you want to call it an arrest, because when you arrest someone, they go to jail. So to handcuff someone, I would think they're under arrest. But to handcuff someone just to take them to a precinct to write them a ticket and tell them they're free to go, please help me understand what that is. Like, you literally handcuff someone to write them a ticket, you remove them from their home to write them a ticket.
And
So
hmm,
the whole removal piece is wrong. The reason why she was removed, again, we don't know, because it wasn't
I
for
see why
physiological
you say
jaundice.
that. Well, was it
Again,
something that
if it was for physiological jaundice, normal jaundice, why are you removing the baby for something that's normal? Why are you removing a baby from a mother whose name is not on the writ?
talk about
Why are you why are you arresting a well, he's not arrested, you wrote him a ticket. So again, what
right?
were they doing?
Still, why? Right?
Answers. Let's get the answers. People want to stand behind what they did. Now that you know they were wrong, which they admitted, where's the answers to what was the we need to, the whatever the policy and what are the procedures that allowed this to happen
Correct.
needs to be broken.
Yes, or throw it in the trash and destroy it once and for good.
Right. And let's figure out
Obviously, it's not
what,
right.
instead of working against, if you guys are truly for families, why not sit down with people and ask them how to make this process a little bit better?
Correct.
Why not? These go through your dockets and find all these families that you have um that has been misrepresented and their children have been removed falsely or whatever, or you've had to take back or whatever. Sit down with them and ask them, how could we have made this procedure a little bit better? This, how do we check? What do we need to do so that we don't run up on these situations?
Correct.
Because why are they licensed? Why are they licensed to cause trauma,
Mm,
right? On families, the very families they're saying they're trying to help.
mm,
There's questions, right? And again, I am not against CPS. I'm not. I
right.
am not according to
Participating
what
facts.
right, not according to what I understand it to be, what
Correct.
it's supposed to
Exactly.
be. So
Exactly.
I am even one that would sit at the table.
Right. And that's what's needed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's needed.
I am one that would sit. And I am not sitting at the table because it's going to do anything for me. But to be quite honest with you, if it does anything for someone that looks like me, it's for me.
Yes, absolutely. And that is your heart that's speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
That is your heart. Because like I said, when I seen you on the interviews, I read what you wrote about this family, how you were just almost, to me, you were just as devastated as she was, I'm sure.
You know what? Let me tell you something. When I pour my heart, when I've listened and shedded tears with a family
My
from
God.
14 weeks to 40 weeks and 3,
Mm,
and I've talked about eating and I've educated on mental and
mhm,
physical. mind, body, and spirit with this family.
My God.
This is my family.
This is your family.
It's my midwifery family.
Yes.
So if you hurting them, you're hurting me.
Yes.
This is not, yes, it's my profession.
But it's
my heart.
But I would rather have a doctor that has your stand and dedication and commitment and passion.
Absolutely. That's what we need.
Any day.
You want to talk about healing? This is what's going to heal our land.
Yes. Yes.
Someone that's not there just for the paycheck.
Right.
I get it. You pay money to go to school. Hey, I got student loans.
Right.
But my student loans don't dictate and determine how I treat people.
I have them too. That's right.
They don't dictate and determine how I serve in my community. Matter of fact, if they did, then I wouldn't be here today.
Correct.
And when I say that, God would not be blessing me the way he's blessed me today.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, like, we have good and evil, right and wrong. But if you're saying that you're for something and you see that something isn't right and you don't do the things that you need to do to change it, then guess where you stand?
You stand wrong. Absolutely. Because I do believe if you are fully aware of something that's wrong and you don't say anything, you're just as guilty as the person that's committing it. I truly stand by that. And with that being said, like I said, we have so many families that have just came into CPS cases or may have been in them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, still fighting to get their children back. And I mean good families. They might have made mistakes. Who doesn't make mistakes? Nobody's perfect but Jesus.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, with your experience working on both sides of the spectrum, you are a medical professional, you a PhD, you're a midwife, you've also have worked for CPS. Can you share any type of you sharing so much wisdom, or let me rephrase that. Can you continue to enlighten or share something that these parents need to be aware of, whether it's going into the medical, going into those, taking those kids for those doctor's appointments or getting their shots or anything of that nature? Is it something they should need to be more aware of that can help them with their, with what they're dealing with right now with CPS, even with life? Because I know you're also a counselor. You again, like I say, it's a plethora of knowledge and wealth that you have God blessed you to have to help his people. Just anything overall that you feel will be beneficial.
Well, this is what I'll say. Things are in place because they're needing to be in place.
Correct.
Hospitals are for sick people. When you're sick, go to the hospital. Learn how, educate yourself, learn how to take care of yourself, learn that we have been born with everything we need to heal ourselves. Absolutely. Literally. True. First and foremost, make sure you're practicing all the things that you need to stay whole, mind, body, and spirit, whatever it needs to look like for you. Right. But to be quite honest with you, the systems we have are just that, the systems we have. It is what it is. Advocate for yourself, ask questions, talk about what they understand informed consent to be. Interview people before you decide to let them be your doctor or your pediatrician. See if they resonate with your culture, with your spirit, with your heart, with your mind. So but for me, what I've decided to do, which I've struggled, right? It's been 2 years. I said, I'm going to go to nursing school so that I can get in. But see, that means I would have to go into the system to learn to work the system. But that feels disgusting to me. It feels deceptive. It's deceptive to my spirit, right? I'm trying to deceive my spirit to do something. I said, no, that's not my route. So May 1st.
Close your heart, my God.
So May 1st, I start my journey to become a naturopathic doctor.
Wow. And I know you're going to do it.
In which
I know you're going to do it.
Which I will currently expand my clinic to care for children, families, couples, individuals in a holistic.
And holistic, can you please explain what holistic means for viewers who are not aware of that?
Absolutely. And so just real quick, in a holistic, natural, herbal way, right?
Right.
And so holistic is truly characterized by the belief that the parts of something are all interconnected.
Hmm.
And it can be explained only by referencing the whole person.
Wow.
So, when I say mind, body, spirit,
Mhm.
whole person, I'm speaking holistically.
Oh.
So, instead of you coming to me and telling me, I have a stomach ache, I'm not going to say, okay, here's a pill. I'm going to say, what do you eat? What give me here's a dialogue
Wow.
so that you can see what you're putting in your system. And let's see if it's some of that first.
Wow. Feel like it's more details. You
Yeah,
get more to the root of the problem.
yeah. The whole person.
Right. Oh, the whole
The
person.
whole person. Mind, body, spirit. What are you putting in?
Oh, that's good.
What
That's
comes out? And
mhm,
here's the thing. What are you putting in here? What are
mhm,
you putting in here? What are
mm.
you putting in here?
All those components
All those components.
makes a huge
What
difference.
is your physical life looking like? What's
Wow.
your emotional life looking like? What's
That's
your spiritual life looking like?
that's good. Mhm,
Holistic, whole. When you think holistic,
mhm,
whole
mhm.
person.
The whole person.
You're not a
Good.
part. There's more to you than just a headache.
Right.
That headache could be caused by stress.
Right.
You may not be able to get past the stress, but can you meditate? Can you
Mm.
take a moment to be mindful?
That's so good. I'm actually taking my first yoga this weekend.
Congratulations.
So I'm because I'm very interested in learning more about being holistic.
Yeah, self-care.
Self-care, that's
Yeah.
it.
Take care of yourself. Be selfish
Yes,
enough to
yes, God.
take care of yourself so you can be selfless enough to pour
Mhm.
out.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, I love that. I just you wrap that up very nicely for again for viewers because sometimes even dealing with, gosh, CPS cases, you're so stressed out.
Mhm.
You can utilize some of these services to help you provide that self-care that you need.
Absolutely. And something that I truly with everything that was going on and as hard as it was, something that I truly stayed connected
Mhm,
um with mom
mhm,
on being mentally strong and
mhm, mhm.
focused and not laying down
Wow,
and giving up. Listen, we're going to slay Goliath.
that's right.
It may not come when we want it to come,
That's right.
but it's always on time because
He's
he's
always
faithful. If you're faithful, he's faithful.
he is
If
faithful.
you're doing what you're supposed to do, listen, I'm
Mm,
gonna tell
I
you.
feel this. This is no, this is amazing.
I tell, it's the faith, right? It's the faith because I have to have the faith,
Speak, Holy Spirit.
right? I
Mhm.
have to have the faith that if I do the right things, if I do what you tell me to do,
Yes.
even though my Goliath may stand before me and they look so big, that
Mhm,
you've given me I'm little. The pebble is little,
mhm, mhm.
but
Talk
my
about
God is mighty.
mighty and strong.
Mighty. So all the world can be against me. That's why people were like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm great. I'm blessed. I'm highly favored. Well,
Right.
don't let what the people say get to you. First and foremost, God protected me because I didn't see half the stuff that obviously everybody else
Protector. Yes.
did. And the little things that I did see,
So good.
I just said, oh, well, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about. Second of all, this is not your story to tell. Oh, why you out there telling a story that has nothing to do with you? Like,
Right.
it makes you look
That part.
silly, foolish.
Right.
But for those that buy into it, I wasn't worried about that either because guess what?
Mhm.
Good is gonna prevail.
Yeah, always. Always. Evil never, you might get away temporarily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
You ultimately,
listen. He's given permissions to do certain things so
come
that
on.
the victory and the glory can be seen.
That's it. You better say that. You better speak on it.
I told this mother, you
I
are a
love it.
sacrificial lamb. Understand that. You are
Yes.
a sacrificial lamb, but guess what? It's a
Mm.
ram in the bush.
Yes, it is. You know what? Listen, I could go, I mean it, on and on and on because you are dropping plethoras of nuggets, of gems, of wealth, mentally, emotionally, physically,
Yeah.
spiritually, and I
Holistically.
holistically, yes. So I could just, I mean, it's just so much that we can just and oh gosh, indulge in and make us better in the long run.
Mhm.
Even with this story, it's so many people that are going to be set free.
Right, right,
So
right.
many people that are going to be set free and going to be looking now out of a new set of eyes.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. You don't
God,
have to be defeated.
you don't have to be. You don't
As
have to
long as you know you're doing what you're supposed to do,
correct.
stand firm,
Stand.
unmovable,
Mhm.
abiding in the word. Don't take down. Don't take down. See, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right, he
But I
does.
say have life, live.
Live your
And
life.
guess what? Sometimes that means figuring out what to do even in the midst of
Even
your storm.
mm. But God is so faithful. Even in that, He will bring, like you say, a ram in a bush.
Ram.
He will bring a way of escape.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't get so caught up that you don't see these glimpses.
Right.
Don't get so wrapped up in the enemy's scheme and plan
Correct.
that you don't realize how powerful you truly are.
Correct.
And I want to say this too, because I'm not against the hospitals because they are also very
Yeah,
much
they're needed.
for sick people,
Yes, absolutely.
for sick people. And that's why they don't have time to sit with you and truly know your name,
Great.
truly know your experience, truly know about you.
Like
So
a
when
midwife seemed to do.
right. So when you're at a place where you're at a loss and you just need somebody to come in and fix something, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
great for that.
It's a hospital. It's for emergencies. But
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to utilize your autonomy
Mm-hmm.
and learn how to take care of yourself. See, my job is to teach you to
Mm-hmm.
take care of you,
Mm-hmm.
not to teach you to come back to me.
Right.
I have too many people to have them stagnated and still here. They need to move on because there's too many people that needs healing.
That's right.
There's too many people that needs awarenesses. There's too many people that needs someone to walk with them on the journey.
Correct. Say that. And that's what I love about it too. I'm seeing the distinction between midwives and going to a regular physician is that the care that you seem to provide is that
Mhm,
it is long term. It's
mhm,
not just a quick fix or put a band-aid on and you're gonna need some more medicine the next 30 days or the next two
mhm.
or 3 years. So it's like it's more self-care that you will
Absolutely,
you will receive. So I think
absolutely.
that is amazing. And we're almost at the end of this segment. I tell you what, Dr. Shaw, I'm
Yeah,
going to have to bring you back. I really am.
absolutely.
I will have to
Absolutely.
bring you back because I think that's pivotal as well for parents, whether it's grandparents or caregivers that are facing stressful situations such as CPS cases. I know personally what it's like because I've also been a parent that had to deal with CPS and with my
Mhm.
child, and I just had to make time to learn to just even through those stressful moments in life to learn to love me.
Absolutely. And yes, let's come back and let's talk about the
Self-care.
importance of mental health in the Black community.
Absolutely. Yes.
How it's time for us to let go of all of this trauma
Hmm.
so that
Yes.
we can be our best selves.
Be our best selves. And that
Absolutely.
is the goal. And I want to say what you're saying that's actually going to bring us to our last part of the segment. But I want to ask you the one final question
Mhm.
for what you just said. Do you believe, or what do you believe will help with racial disparities, and any other advice that you would like to share as we begin to wrap up our show for today?
I feel like-minded people
Hmm.
who truly want transformation, who truly wants racial equality, who truly wants healing, racial healing,
Hmm.
should come to the table.
Mm.
And listen, not come to the table for no fluff. Because
Right.
first of all, you need to hear.
Different You
You
perspectives.
need to hear.
Yeah.
There's a book. I'm part of a racial healing and transformation cohort, and one of their gifts to us was a book, The Sum of Us,
Hmm.
and it talks about why we are where we are right now. And it talks about it takes you all the way back to the colonizers
Hmm.
and how unfortunately it seems like when these people that came with this this self prophecy of knowing better for everybody decided that I'm gonna take over and make this better for you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
um and then when the people that they felt were savages wanted to take back or have more, that because them having something meant you not having something. That's the same way we are today.
Mm-hmm.
In order for Black people to be accomplished or have something, why is it that other races feel like they're losing out on it and they want to stifle and they want to put you in bondage, slavery,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's called The Sum of Us, and it is a
That's the
beautiful
title of the book.
Angela McGee.
Okay.
Angela McGee, and it's a hard read. I'm on chapter 2, and I've been reading it for 2 weeks. I read it, I put it down, I get intrigued and pick it right back up. But it
Right.
is a hard read, but it's a truth that's needed. So first of all, pick that book up and let's just go to where it started at.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's sit down and have these real hard conversations.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Right.
Because first of all, let's break up that foundation. Well, you can't break up a foundation if you don't know what that foundation is. We are on a foundation of slavery. We're
Mm-hmm.
on a foundation of slavery.
That's
What we walk on every day in this world, in the un-United States of America, is slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's break that foundation.
Okay.
So let's sit at the table and break up that foundation.
Okay. And I definitely, like I say, we are at the end of our segment. I definitely, again, I thank you so much for your heart, Dr. Cheryl, for being a advocate. And even in the case that was dealing with Tamisha and Rodney Jackson, husband and wife, whose child was wrongfully taken by CPS, but by the grace of God, the mercy of God was returned due to your connection as well and your knowledge and giving birth to that beautiful baby girl.
And you know what? The community.
In the community.
And really, to be honest with you, I want to give a shout out to the AFIA Center.
Right.
That's here in Dallas, Texas, because the AFIA Center is who got us out there in them streets and in them trenches.
Wow.
Right. And that's another thing, having those kind of connections. Right. And I'm going to tell you something. It's because of the work. Yeah. And it's the work because it's the work that I serve in spaces with them that allowed them to serve in this space.
Wow.
So shout out to the AFIA Center here in Dallas, Texas. They are doing an amazing job with reproductive justice. It is just a beautiful, beautiful thing to have felt that community and that connection. Like, yes, I'm getting a little teary, but
I did too earlier. Now I'm like, okay, Dr. Cheryl, you got to stop now.
I'm telling you, because to go through things and feel like no one really sees or hears, and then to pick up the phone and say, I need you. And then and the response is, what do you need, sis?
I'm sure they got it came about. They made it happen.
To God be the glory.
To God be the glory. But we're going to end on that right there. To God be the glory. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl. I'm going to be bringing you back one day. I don't know when, because you have a plethora of knowledge, and I think it's so helpful to our communities. And may God continue to bless you and your establishment.
You as well, and may He enlarge your territory.
Thank you. I receive that.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are at the end of our show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. God, I hope what was shared, it will bless everyone. It will make you think. It will make you grow and go and get out here and help these families. I thank God that God has given us the grace and the mercy to keep going, to keep fighting for what is right. And I know God is going to see us all through. So again, thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.